Okay, I'm live. Hi, everybody. It's Thursday, 14th of January, and I hope everybody is doing okay. I hope many of you, like myself, have gotten the vaccine. I got one of them. I tried to get a selfie, but I don't like selfies, and it didn't come out good anyway. And I think I get my next vaccine. We did the Pfizer at Hopkins, and where I got it anyway. Will be a week from Monday, so looking forward to it. And there's some great results out of Israel where they're doing a lot of testing and a lot of patients this morning. That their experience, the first vaccine will make you at least 50 to 70% safe, and their numbers are going down. So Israel, being a smaller country but being very efficient, will have the entire population, whether you're Jewish or Arab, whatever you are. They're able to get people to get the vaccine. So hopefully, if they get it by the end of February, we'll be able to see really how it works if everybody's vaccinated, how you can drop the numbers. And I'm hoping that, now you read in the papers, whether it's Hopkins or anywhere else, up to 20% of healthcare workers refuse to get the vaccine. I think we need everybody vaccinated. I mean, there is the theoretical risk has not been tested for 3 years or 5 years, but I think the risk reward, when you see 4,000 plus Americans dying every day, and thousands more people dying worldwide, and thousands upon thousands of people being in the hospitals and resources running low. You look at Los Angeles, it looks like it's a third world country or fourth world country. I mean, no resources, just things are terrible. This is like the world's worst disease. So I think hopefully the vaccine will go really well. Um, Today, my talk is on what I learned from Keith, who's the editor of Time, the publisher of Time magazine, and the president of Time, let me be exact, if it's his title of Time Inc., and everything that Time does, whether it's online or anywhere else. And Keith Grossman is a friend of mine for a long time. He had a long career. He's young, so it's hard to call things long career, but he was at Wired for many years, and then he moved over to Bloomberg, ran a lot of their stuff, and from Bloomberg moved over to Time, and has been in Time since July 9, 2019, which meant that he was at Time for roughly 9 months at best before COVID came, and he's been now running Time for 10 months into the COVID. So he spoke to us a little bit, or a lot, about his philosophy of business, about the philosophy of the magazine, and just the philosophy of how they do things. So I thought I would share that with you all. Now, it's unfortunate the way the world is now. Keith normally would come to us at Hopkins, and I've done the speaker series. Remember, most of you can read the articles. Keith already wrote 2 articles. He was here twice before, in 2017 and 2020. But the articles are in JACR. But it's really good to hear because, in 1,500 words, it's hard to take a person's 1-hour presentation with Q&A. The reason we don't make it live for everybody is we did it once with one of our first speakers way back when in April, and people Zoom bombed us. Now I know Zoom bombing is hard to do now, and in the beginning one of the challenges with Zoom was the security that people could break in and this, that, and the other. But I'm just not willing to take that chance. Unfortunately, I can't post it, but if you're someone I know or you know me and you send us your email, we'll try to get you on. Our next speaker, actually 28th of January, is very exciting. A friend of mine for a while, Linda Carter. Yes, it's that Linda Carter, the Linda Carter who was Wonder Woman, who's had an incredible career far beyond Wonder Woman, whether it's in acting or singing or producing or philanthropy. So she'll be speaking to us about a number of things, including her career, the challenges, the difficulties, as well as the successes, as well as many of the things she's doing, and also on women's rights and how things have changed for women over the years since she's been in the public eye for greater than 50 years. So you can imagine how much has changed, how things must have been so incredibly difficult at that time. And things may not be perfect now, but they're surely a lot better. So that should be very exciting. Now, the thing with Keith, let me just tell you some of the things, and Steve Rowe's going to write the article with Linda Chu, so you'll be able to read it. Hopefully, we'll do a great job, and JACR will accept it, and then it'll be published within 6 to 8 months. But Keith made several points. One is when he took over Time, they were Time is a classic. They've been around for a century, but like many things that have been around for a long time, they kind of got a little bit stale. It was a quality people producing it, but the world had changed. Print was dying in many ways, or at least the perception was print was dying, and everything was the internet, everything was online. And you saw many magazines have disappeared. Think of Newsweek as a good example. Playboy magazine has disappeared. Not that you're comparing Playboy and Newsweek, but a range of things have disappeared just because they were not able to adjust. Now, Time and 1.5 million followers has been successful, but what they've been very successful under Keith is moving to online platforms, whether it's Twitter or it's some of their digital products. They look carefully at what they had. They had a lot of material on health. There's an article, the front cover this week of Time magazine, which is the January 11th issue. It's on the COVID development, the vaccine development. It's by Walter Isaacson, who wrote the biography of Steve Jobs and Hamilton, I think, and Ben Franklin. So and he used to be one of the editors at Time way back when. I think he's with the Aspen Foundation. So really brilliant writers and brilliant stories. You can get Time Health into your news feed, into your email, which I do have. It comes every few days. Really, really good articles, very pertinent. Time has built out their thing, so on the health. They also always had time for children. And Keith, as he mentioned, has a 7-year-old. So one of the things they did was rebrand that, or not so much rebrand it, but put it online, make it available. And they have almost 500,000 people who subscribe to it. And also Keith mentioned that he's very big in charity. New York Cares is the charity he's been involved with for a number of years. And he worked with HP, who was just totally separate, but they put printers in shelters, they put printers in soup kitchens, and they said if he would give them the content, they would print it. And so, voila. Now you had people being able to print out the material to share with their children or friends or whatever. So it become very, very important. I think also one of the things Keith mentioned that, employees are everything. So as he mentioned, Time wasn't doing well, and perhaps you can blame it on the employees. But when Mark Benikoff, and I always pronounce his name wrong, who's the founder and CEO of Salesforce, is a very big venture capitalist, done many things. Him and his wife bought Time, not as part of Salesforce, but as part of their own portfolio. But the goal was not to see if they can make more money. They have a lot of money, though everyone always wants more money. But it was clear that they bought it because they wanted it to survive the next century. And they wanted to bring it back to as great as it once was, or even better. And one of the things Keith mentioned is that Mark had said when the COVID came along that everybody, okay, we cut salaries, we lay off people. And he told Keith to make certain that he was able to work it out, that he could tell all the employees that for at least 90 days, there'd be no layoffs, there'd be no cutbacks, everyone would work from home, but everyone was going to remain whole. And I think that's one of the things that was very successful. And I think, as Keith said, people worked harder and better than ever. We've all been home for 10 months now, and every one of you listening to me has been home. Some of you have been to work. Many technologists, there's no home. Can't scan from home, so you're at work. And I'm at work 4 days a week. Many of you are at work also many days a week. But everything has changed. And COVID has accentuated the things that people who figured out how to do versus people who figured out not how to do. And, in an era of high unemployment, of uncertainty, of people being scared, making sure that people's jobs were secure, making sure that people's salaries were secure, making sure that people's benefits were secure. Obviously, people will love you, okay? They will work harder. I think it's very important that, in good times, everyone has all boats rise in good times. It's in difficult times that you know who's really good. Because in difficult times, the companies that manage to get through it, that manage to excel, when they come to the other side, and I promise you, I don't know if it's in 6 months or 12 months, but we will get to the other side. And the companies that took care of their employees, that took care of their people, that took care of their customers, that did the right thing, although the right thing was often very difficult to do and a bit stressful and a bit of uncertainty, those companies will do so much better because you have loyalty. You look at the top 10 tech companies to work with. We just published, Ron Zember, my son-in-law, sent me an article. Number one company in the world, tech company, NVIDIA. I forgot who number 2 is, but I know number 3 was Google. You know, great companies treat their employees great. It's all about the employees. When Ed Catmull spoke with us, when Ed Catmull gives talks, you can listen to him. And it's all about the people. It's engaging the people, it's challenging the people, but it's treating the people with respect and knowing their importance to the organization and knowing their importance to making things go very well. And that's something Keith spoke about. Keith spoke about, the challenges. And, it's not easy times. I think we've all been in COVID for 10 months. And like he mentioned, he normally travels 1 million miles a year. He's been in-house since last February. So every one of us has a challenge. I was speaking about CME meetings, and we're running a CME course on February 13th, which is a Zoom meeting. It's not that exciting, but it's something. But this is the first year in 37 that on President's Weekend, I will not be in Florida running a CME course. Whether it was in Bal Harbour the first year or Miami Beach the second or third year, and then we moved to Orlando by the 4th year. And I've been in Orlando for 33 years, whether it was the Peabody or the Disney Yacht Club or the Swan or Universal. We've been there. This is the first year. I'm sitting in my kitchen now. So on Thursdays, I've been staying home because I have a lot of meetings and I catch up on a lot of work. But it just needs to be, you just need to be thinking about it that way. Now, Keith also was very clear about leadership. That leadership is critical, that people look up to the people on the top to see how they perform, that in difficult times, people need leaders, people need direction, people want direction. I think in uncertain times, in times like this, which are uncharted, leadership really needs to shine. And this is one of those moments where, whether it's the Bezos and Amazon, or it's the Googles, or it's the Tim Cook at Apple, or Jensen Huang and NVIDIA, those companies are knocking it out of the box. There's no doubt. Whether it's Elon Musk at Tesla, where using this period to do even greater things. It's interesting with COVID, volumes were down about 50 or 60% at March to June period. Volumes have come back. They're still a little bit less than they were year to year, particularly inpatient volumes. As COVID surges, hospitals get more crowded with COVID patients, of course, and you have to cancel elective surgery, which does a lot of imaging studies. It's also more profitable, obviously, but at this point, we're not worrying about profit, we're worrying about patient care. So the radiology volumes are down a little bit now, probably 10%. And I'll predict that they're going to stay in those low numbers at least through March, April. Perhaps with the vaccine coming along, perhaps with some of the seasonal illnesses where it gets warmer, it's a touch better on the virus than not exactly. Perhaps with a new administration, with Biden coming in, people will not consider wearing a mask, Democratic, and not wearing a mask, Republican. The thought that wearing a mask or getting a vaccine depends on your political party is sheer madness. Medicine is science. Medicine is not whether you're a Democrat or Republican, whether you're for Trump or for Biden. That really doesn't matter. When we do a CT scan, we don't ask you, you're Republican or Democrat. We don't care. You could be whatever. You could be you could be for nobody. We just try to do the scan the best we can. We don't modify the MAS and the KVP. if you're a Republican or you're a Democrat, if you're a Biden follower or a Trump follower. Medicine is just politically neutral. It's supposed to be. So it's just been a really, it's sad when you look at Congress yesterday where the Republican congressmen don't want to wear a mask. Okay, what a bunch of fools. Okay, that's what it comes down to. A bunch of fools who should be voted out of office. I would say that anyone who refuses to wear a mask in Congress, in that crowded room there, you got to be a crazy person. What are you thinking? Not that hard to wear a mask. My grandson's 4 and change. Every one of his friends, every one of the kids in his class wears a mask every day. They're in school from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. No one takes their mask off. They take it for lunch. They sit 10 feet apart. They don't talk during lunch. If a 4-year-old can do it, a 50 or 60 or 70-year-old can surely do it. I don't think there's really any excuses. So let's see. If anyone has questions, this is probably a good time. So I see John Biacchino from Zayed. Love Keith's talk, and I agree. Keith's talk was incredible, and I wish I could share it with you, but I can't. But it was really good. You should have been there. Raouk said, very much a reflection of the age of digital evolution we're living in. COVID accelerated it. There's no doubt that COVID, whether you think of something as simple as telemedicine, COVID in 10 months accelerated the adoption of telehealth, telemedicine, teleradiology. What would have taken 5 or more years. I think there's no doubt about that. That's not going back. Raouk also says, I hate to see, or I'm sad to see the politicalization of medicine. Yeah, it should be common sense dictating over conspiracy, right? The vaccine is not a conspiracy. Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, they're just trying to do it, and they're doing an amazing job. They're doing an amazing job. So I think that part's really exciting. And let's see, Alejandra should be working on our Felix stuff, which is going well, back in Baltimore. So those are really the main things. If anyone has any questions, it's a good time to ask. Someone did tell me a joke, and they were referring to themselves, not to me, but they said, so I'll just modify the joke. What's the difference between me and the President of the United States? Okay, I have a Facebook account. Okay, all right. That is a terrible joke, but it is somewhat humorous. And I think it's also a good point about Facebook, and I don't like to get into this whole thing about the politics of Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or anything else. I think that something like Facebook, which we're on now, Facebook Live, it costs you nothing, it costs me nothing. I'm sitting doing it myself. I have no helpers. We're sitting chatting. All of the education we provide on Facebook and the web in general and YouTube, which is part of Google, is all something that's very helpful to people to learn, and particularly in this era without any CME courses going on. So on the flip side is you shouldn't be using Facebook for disseminating theories or conspiracies or things that maybe aren't exactly true. So I think it's a real balance, that balance of freedom of speech versus the fact that freedom of speech does not let you go into a movie theater and scream fire. Screaming fire in a movie theater is freedom of speech. Anyone can scream whatever they want. But in a movie theater where people can get hurt, where there could be a catastrophe from doing that, you're not allowed to do that. It's not a matter of could you, it's a matter of should you. And the answer is that. Okay, and now Svi, I pronounced the name wrong. Can you say something about the 37th Annual Computed Body Tomography? Okay, we've done 36 courses in Florida, I just mentioned a few moments ago. And rather than not doing anything this year, I want to basically, we're going to do a one-day course. So here's how it works. GE is going to help fund part of the course through their unrestricted grants, which is very nice. We appreciate it. We're going to run a one-day course. The course it's 10 lectures. It's a really good program. It's 10 lectures running from 8 a.m. to 4:30. Now, if you want to watch the course, it's totally for free. You, your friends, your grandparents, your grandchildren, anybody can watch it. It's totally for free. You'll just go, boom, it'll be there. Now, if you want CME credits, now people outside the US, CME credits don't mean anything. People in the US, Canada, need CME credits. There's 2 types of CME credits. There's credits, AMA credits, which are for radiologists, and there's ASRT, the technologist credits. Now, Hopkins, which is going to run the meeting, in order to give credits, they have to be registered, and then we also cost money to get the ASRT to approve the credits, and Hopkins is required to keep records for 3 years, or I think 5 years, because it's 3 years a credit is good for, so you have to keep records and everything else, so there's a cost involved. So if you want credits, for technologists it's $50, which means it's something like $4 a credit. For radiologists it's $100, which 8 times $12.50. It's $12.50 a credit, which is the average credit is $50. This is $12. So if you want the credits, go online. You'll see we posted it on CTisus. You'll get a mail blast as well. We'll send it out. You can go online and register. Okay, you register, you'll get CME credits. You'll have to take a quiz, the usual things with CME, but you'll get your credits. If you just want to watch it, we'll post the links where it is on Zoom. It's going to be a Zoom meeting. We'll do a live Q&A. It'll be terrific, 8 to 5. If you just want to watch it and you don't want CME credits, it's not going to cost you anything. Okay? Period. 0. So I just want to make certain. 0. There's my hand. So it's going to cost you nothing. If you want CME credit, then it's a minuscule amount of money, $50 or $100. So that's up to you. You know, we're going to be there. It should be a great meeting. We'll do a Q&A. We look forward to that. I think we will work it out. Now, sometimes people will say to me, I know many of our friends in Europe or in Asia or in Africa or Australia or New Zealand will say, you know, hey, there's a problem because Elliot, you know, 4 o'clock by you is the middle of the night. So we understand that. So the lectures will be online after as well. So it'll be live, but then we will be putting it online. It'll be on probably CTisus itself and the Hopkins site both. So you'll be able to access the material after. And I think typically when you do CME, it's good for 3 years. So the material is good for 2 or 3 years. So if you can't make it that Saturday, if you're busy, if it's a bad time zone, but you need credit, you'll be able to go back after and watch it. So I think that part's going to be really good. We're excited to do it. We'd be more excited to be in Orlando, to be honest with you, and you'd be more excited to be with us in Orlando. But we can't do that, so I think this is going to be second best. So let's see. It sounds great, don't need credit because from Denmark. And yeah, that's the point, that there are many people, I think, I know Europe is working on doing credits, but they have, some countries have gotten there. I think England maybe Germany was working on something, as I remember. But you know, the fact is that if you don't need credit, if you want to register, you can. We'd be happy to take your money. But if you don't want to register, you don't have to, but you're able to see the lectures just like you're registered. And our page has not become political. Sometimes you have to mention what's going on in the world, and you have to be one with humanity. And sometimes we just cannot let things go by because everyone expects you to say something. When things like the Capitol happened last week, it's sad. Whether in Europe or China or Australia, New Zealand, in Baltimore or Lydiana in Palo Alto, that was just sad. It was sad as an American. It was sad as a human being. So we do need to at least mention those things every once in a while, but we're not political. We're not. Our site, Democrat, Republican, in between, nothing, atheists, religious, whatever you are, we love all. You know, Hard Rock Cafe is our motto. Those of you who haven't been to Hard Rock Cafe in a long time, because probably they're all closed now, remember the buttons? It says love all, serve all, or it says serve all, love all, something like that. So that sounds good. Anyway, if you have any questions, you'll be getting a mailing from Lily the end of the week. Those of you who sign up for our mailing, you'll be getting a mailing explaining a little bit more about the course, showing you the program. The program is finished. You know, the usual CME things have to be done, but that should be within a day, maybe by today. And then the full schedule, the timing. I think I'm the first talk, 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'll finish promptly by 4:30. So we'll be on time. We'll have, I think, 3 or 4 Q&A sessions where you can ask the speakers questions. We have terrific speakers. We have Linda Chu, we have Atif Zahir, we have Stefan Zimmerman, and Tony Lynn, besides myself. So it should be a great meeting. And with that, Lydiana, by the way, my hair's messed up because I took a walk this morning and didn't re-shower after I took my walks. So, in Baltimore, it's 40 degrees and sunny, so you got to walk when you can. And with that, I wish everybody a great day, and hope to see you all soon. Take care. Bye.